Richard paid for the thing, but I had to put a shoulder down.
Yeah.
Hey, I recommend you guys watch it. You guys also have Aaron's story here. Some videos from Danny Alante's meeting about earning circles, about the business. It's pretty cool. You got Tracy's poker meeting here, and you got some Tommy stuff. Tommy got a meeting called "Just Do It." Right, and it's not Nike thing. It's just do it, shake it off your stuff, and just do it. Which is pretty cool. Anyway, so the thing about the time management yesterday, did it genuinely help anyone?
Yes.
You guys feel you can apply that maybe personally in your life?
Yes.
Dude, okay, cool. So I'm gonna tell you, can I get a person that's good at handwriting?
Felicity.
I've got really good hands.
Felicity's
You said it first. You need to get promoted first.
Felicity's got the good.
I was not ready.
Richard.
What's that?
No, that was me.
That was me. So no, real quick. It's gonna be really quick, okay? So I'm gonna read this part and then we're gonna
Really
write
quick,
down
it's gonna be
10.
35
We're gonna write down 10 things, okay? 1 to 10. So I'm gonna teach you guys how I learned how you turn your attitude into action, right? Because you can have a great attitude, but how do you actually apply it into actions, right? This is the kind of job that like I recommend if you need a break, that you take it and you're conscious that we don't get paid on break time. We get paid on how we do, which has positives and negatives. If you don't do anything, you don't get paid. I think that happens almost in any job. But most of the jobs, they'll find out if you are clocking in if you're milking the clock in a job and you're not doing anything, at some point they'll find out and you won't really make money. If you have a job where it's allowed to really not do anything but still get paid, it's probably not a high paying job. Anybody had a job like that? Anybody see people that take their phone charger, like their portable home charger, to work? What does that tell you? You guys have seen the people in the mall that are not on commissions. The one on commissions, what do they do?
Hey!
They're hustling because they gotta pay bills. Is that not kind of like the point? But what about, you ever see people that you know there's no commission involved?
Yes.
Why? In the mall, they're sitting on a stool watching, like you see the show. That's right. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I didn't go to the gym.
okay, turning attitude into action. I'm gonna read this thing and then I'm gonna give you 10 strategies. But first, I'll read this thing real quick. So you guys know I didn't make this up. It's an article by success.com. Must be, must work, must make sense. Right? Turning your attitude into one of the most important steps you can take towards achieving your greatest potential in life is to learn how to monitor your attitude and its impact on your work performance, relationships, and everyone around you. I generally start my workshops and seminars by asking a fundamental question. What attitude did you bring into this meeting? Often, this brings puzzled looks. In truth, people generally don't have a high level of attitude awareness. They'll know if they're hungry or if their feet hurt, but usually they don't have a good handle on their attitude. That's a mistake because attitude is everything. It governs the way you perceive the world and the way the world perceives you. We all have a choice. We can choose an inner dialogue of self-encouragement and self-motivation, or we can choose one of self-defeat and self-pity. It's a power we all have. We choose that. Each of us encounters hard times, hurt feelings, heartache, and physical and emotional pain. The key to realize is not what happens to you that matters, is how you choose to respond that matters. Your mind is a computer that can be programmed. You can choose whether the software installed is productive or unproductive. Your inner dialogue is the software that programs your attitude, which determines, great book to read, what to say when you talk to yourself, by the way. Because your inner dialogue is the software that programs your attitude, which determines how you present yourself to the world around you. You have control over the programming. Whatever you put into it is reflected on what comes out. Many of us have behavior patterns today that were programmed into our brains at a very tender age. The information that was recorded by our brains could have been completely inaccurate or cruel. The sad reality of life is that we will continue to hear negative stuff, but we don't have to program it into our brains. The loudest and most influential voice you hear is your own inner voice, your self-critic. Anyone relate to that? Yeah. That's pretty accurate. If it can work for you or against you, depending on the messages you allow in the program. It can be optimistic or pessimistic. It can wear you down or cheer you on. You control the sender and the receiver, but only if you consciously take responsibility for and control over your inner conversation. Habitual bad attitudes are often the product of past experiences and events. Common causes include low self-esteem, stress, low self-image, fear, resentment, anger, and inability to handle change. It takes serious work to examine the roots of a harmful attitude, but the rewards of ridding ourselves of this heavy baggage can last a lifetime. Isn't that cool? Did you learn a few words that you have never heard before? I did. Okay. Okay, but does anybody agree with this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Think about it like this, right? If there's people that think that making 75 grand, 100 grand a year is a lot of money. I used to think that when I started. I still think that's a lot of money. Who agrees with that? Cool. But we also know of people in the world, and Larry's been talking about us, but other owners and people that we're just breaking a record, so obviously we're gonna make money, but if for somebody to make $20,000 in a week, or just $10,000 in a week, it's $520,000 a year. It's like 5 times more than. Would you say 75K is a really high salary?
Yes.
I mean,
it's decent, yeah.
raise your hand here if you've, and again, it's not the point to brag or not, but raise your hand here if you, I guess, maybe just over 50, if you've ever got an offer over 60 grand a year or worked for over 60 grand a year. Not many people, look. 1, 2, raise your hand higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 15 people out of 50. So it's not a lot, right? Like, so think about it. If we increase that number from 60 to 80, some hands would go down, right? From 80 to 100. So what about 500, right? So anyway,
Wouldn't be here.
but there's people. Would you agree? You probably have to master things like this that are not on textbooks, like your inner dialogue. Who's ever worked on inner dialogue? Oh, you worked on it, man. You guys are sharp. I never heard that in school for my entire life. I never heard that was important. What I heard in school that was important was they told me my GPA was important. Nobody told me my inner dialogue was important, but then I realized that like you can get a job that could be a breaking point where you get an offer maybe for 80K based on the attitude you had on the interview because the guy interviewing you or girl liked you because of your attitude that day. And that has nothing to do with your degree. I'm from Spain. I did a 4-year degree in college. I didn't know it was not valid. I didn't know that college doesn't really mean anything other than maybe some relationships you create. Unless and don't get butthurt. I'm not trying to take a shot on college. But I went to college and I thought it was because my parents said, this is what you got to do to be successful. And I spent like 300 euros in Spain trying to make the diploma, like the actual degree, officialized in America. You know what I mean? Because like, you know how you study to be a doctor here? That doesn't mean you're necessarily a licensed or official doctor in Belgium. You know what I mean? Like you would have to go through some sort of system that officializes your degree. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So I thought it was the most important thing in the world to make sure my degree of advertising and PR was going to be recognized in America as a degree instead of companies in America telling me like, oh, there's a degree in Spain, so it doesn't count. I didn't want that, so I want it to count. So anyway, there's a system, there's like a company, it's probably a pyramid scheme, that I had to pay 300 euros for, that like put a stamp on it and said, okay, your diploma, your degree is now official in the United States. Like this is a degree that companies in America will acknowledge as if you would have got it in UNT. I was like, okay, cool. I don't want to go through 4 years of that, then move to the US. I'm able to speak English. I'm able to translate my knowledge into English, but I can't. I have to say I'm only right out of high school. No, right? So anyway, guess what? Then I started interviewing for companies, and not one single company asked me for a degree. On the job posting, it said it. Now I know it's because ZipRecruiter, and they actually make you check the box as the employer, like, do you want people to have a degree or not? And you just have to put yes or no. You can't put nothing. Maybe you can type it out. And I realized that every company that required a degree, because I applied for Amazon, Facebook, I got an interview with Facebook, I got an interview with Amazon. I didn't get interviewed by Google, but I applied to all of the big companies and also to cool marketing agencies that I signed in San Antonio. And dude, not one of them actually needed my degree. Like, they asked me, I remember one guy interviewed, you're laughing in the back because it's the same thing, huh?
Yeah, it's true.
Dude, they asked me like, do you have a degree? And I said, yes. Like, I was like, hopefully they make me show it because I had to go through all of this dude, hey, no, it took months to prove that my degree was true. By the way, I was the guy with the best attitude in the interview. I was like, hey, I'll work for free because my dad trained me well. I said, hey, don't ask for pay, don't ask for days off. If you want the job, just tell them you'll do the job for free and you'll do whatever it takes and they will pay you. And I was like, cool. So I went to the job. I'm like, hey, I'm ready to do whatever it takes. I can start right now. I can start whatever job you say right now, no response. I said that. It was not true, but I said that. I was not ready to start right there. But you know, I knew that was the right thing to say in an interview. If you go to any interview in the world and you're like, hey, I'm not sure what this is, but I like you, I want to work here, I know your company is going somewhere, and I want to be a part of it, and I'm ready to do whatever you ask me to do right now for free. And I will not ask you about the pay. I trust that you will pay me what I'm worth and more. If you say that to any company, they will shake. They will hire you. Or you'll have very high chances of getting hired. I'm telling you because I've hired over 3,000 people in 5 years, and it makes sense. But my degree. Nobody checked that the degree was official. They're like, do you have a degree? I'm like, there was one guy that asked me, do you have a degree? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay. Well, what do you mean, okay? Like, do you have to check it? Like, do you want to see it? Like, I had a little manila folder with the diploma from Spain. Like, dude, in Spain, it's signed by the king of Spain. We have a king there. It's signed by the king of Spain. I'm like, dude, the king signed this thing. Like, it took me a year and a half to get it back after I graduated. Yeah, I'm like, you don't want to see it? I can show you. Nobody, because guess what? This doesn't matter. Like, they want to say that, yeah, we hired people with degrees, but the degree doesn't really matter. I'm like, dude, I could have saved 300 euros, was a lot of money at that time for me. So I realized that they were just asking me questions that had nothing to do with my knowledge, because I studied PR in 2013, 14, 15, graduated in 2016. Do you think marketing and PR has changed from 2016 to here? Yes, a lot. Like, everything I studied is gone. It's already in the past. There was no iWatches by then.
What's an iWatch? It's called iWatch?
Teslas back then.
Yeah, it's called iWatch, yeah. But like, people at that time used to cheat in school. They would buy little, how do you call these? Tommy should know. Little earpieces, because AirPods didn't exist. People would cheat with they would pay for watches that you could upload PDFs in Google Docs. And because there was no such thing as a watch that would like display letters. That's how old it was. I'm talking about 2016. It wasn't that long ago. So now everything's changed. Marketing has changed. PR has changed. So what I've studied, it doesn't really matter. Like, life has changed. Kids now are born and they can manage their phone and get more followers than you when they don't know anyone but their parents. And the kid has more followers than you on Instagram and Facebook you've collected for the last 15 years. Life's changing very quickly, so what I'm telling you is your attitude is way more important. If you learn how to dominate it, that's what'll break your barrier from 60, 70K. Maybe the biggest offer you can get is 100. Maybe you're super a stud and you can get a $150,000 offer from a job, $3,000 a week before tax. It's not bad at all, right? But what's going to break that to the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a year is your attitude. And they don't teach this because they don't want people making that much money, because nobody that makes $700,000 is going to work for somebody else. Very few people are going to make $700,000 and respond to a boss every day. Yes, boss. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No. People work for themselves when they make that much money. They master their attitude. So here are 10 strategies to how to transform your attitude. Look, it says 10 strategies from my attitude toolkit to improve your attitude. Number 1, self-coaching through affirmations. Where's Nay? Nay, do you still have that thing that I made you laminate? Do you have it?
You didn't give it to me.
I didn't give it to you?
No, you just sent me a picture of it.
Supposed to give it to you too? Gosh, Charlie, did you not laminate it for her? Was it you?
Jack eliminated it.
Jack, so I made Nay do this super good thing, affirmations. And you don't have to write this whole thing down, but affirmations repeated several times each day, every day, serve to reprogram your subconscious with positive thinking. An affirmation is made up with words charged with power, conviction, and faith. Send a positive response to your subconscious and accept it, whether you tell it or it says whenever it's done properly, this will trigger a positive feeling, which will drive action. Okay? So what do you think you should do in the morning to your people and coworkers? Affirmations, and you should do them to yourself. By the way, have you ever anybody's had a negative thought about themselves, like negative self-talk? Like, I don't know if I can do this. You ever said that to yourself? Okay, so this is a spiritual concept. If you want to override a negative thought, you cannot compensate with positive thought. You have to say it.
Yeah.
So if I'm in my head thinking like, man, I don't like Chris, I'm gonna go in Chris's car, I hate working with Chris. You cannot, even if you catch yourself and you're like, no, that's bad, I love Chris. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It has to be a positive talk, like you have to out loud say it. It's a weird thing. It's a mechanism, okay? You have to actually speak out loud, and you ever seen weird people like, man, what are they talking to themselves? They're weird. It's also weird. It's also weird to see somebody that makes $800,000. It's weird, right? So talk positive to yourself. Say it out loud. Say affirmations. They wrote down 20 good things about her. And it's funny because I'm like, how long ago has it been since you've known this? He's like, I've always known this. Like, how often do you repeat it to yourself? Like, never. Think about how many positive things you know about yourself that you don't repeat to yourself. You need to say to yourself, I'm a good parent. I'm a good mom. I'm a great student. I'm a great coworker. Everyone loves me. And say these things to you. Number 2, self-motivation through discovering your motives. Let me know if you need me to repeat it. Self-motivation through discovering your motives. Discover what motivates you, what incites you to take action. You know, some of you guys are like, hey, who was I talking to? I was talking to Monica, to my wife. And she's like getting these cravings about pistachio ice cream, right?
It's a pregnancy thing.
Pregnancy thing. So what she does is tricks herself, like she wants to get work done. She's working a little bit more from home. So she's like, hey, I'm gonna, and she needs to eat healthy, right? So she's like, hey, I'm going to qualify to eat my second ice cream of the day, I'm gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna eat a healthy dinner. Yeah. You ever done that? Like you trick yourself with something good to get something better? Like, see, you do like Netflix, do it, but condition yourself. Find your motive. Like, hey, let me get this done. Let me get 5 pages to read because I know that's better for my future, even if I don't enjoy it today. Let me read 5 pages and then I'll go to do my thing, to watch YouTube videos, to do whatever it is that you want to do. So discover your motives and use them as the carrot to your own motivation. Number 3, the power of visualization. Studies of psychology of peak performance have found that the most great athletes, surgeons, engineers, and artists use affirmations and visualizations either consciously or subconsciously to enhance and focus their skills. The power of visualization. Just write like.
She erased it like, what?
Okay, I'll tell you a story. Nelson Mandela has written extensively on how visualization helped him maintain a positive attitude while being in prison for 27 years. He quotes, I thought continually of the day when I would walk free. I fantasized about what I would like to do. He wrote in his autobiography, visualization works well to improve your attitude. I remember when I saw this meeting, I have my notes here as I was the person in the room listening. And I challenge you to do this because it's beautiful. I put here, I see myself as the owner, see myself as the person that, what will I do? Who will I empower? What will I buy? I wanted to buy things, I guess. So I challenge you to do that. I remember driving my car and I had a couple leaders on my team and I remember imagining the 4th and 5th leader and I would imagine the day of my promotion. Dude, you should do that. It's free to feel good about yourself. Like you guys remember Cassandra's promotion?
Yeah.
Like, do you think she was genuinely happy?
Oh, yeah.
Not really.
Do you think she's imagining, do you think how much she's like worked for that moment?
Yes.
Like months and months of work hard with no necessarily any result. So dude, I empower you to visualize yourself as the owner. What will you do? Today we got a little peek window to see the office where Tracy and Alante will be in California. And we got to see the office. We got to click on the apartment that they might stay at right next to it. It's a 1-minute drive. It's the power of visualizing. Do you think these guys are motivated today?
Yeah.
Do that to yourself. Visualize it. And, hey, ask your upline, hey, what kind of vision can I see for myself? Anyway, power of visualization. Number 4, attitude talk for positive internal dialogue. Attitude talk for positive internal dialogue. Your attitude is a way to override your past negative programming by erasing it or replacing it with positive voices. That little voice that you listen to all day long acts like a seed and it programs your brain that affects your behavior. Take a closer look at what you're saying to yourself. I recommend instead of, that might be my phone. I recommend instead of listening to yourself, which most of the times is negative, talk to yourself. Every time you catch yourself listening to yourself, which is what happens in between doors and what happens in between everything, just talk to yourself. Stop it and just talk. You're not gonna talk bad to yourself. So just talk good to yourself. But when you can't, don't listen to yourself. Your brain is gonna give you like survival bad thoughts, and when you're conscious, you're gonna do better. So anyway, attitude talk for positive internal dialogue. I wrote here, immediate reaction, field for mental training to unleash powerful results. Yeah, in the field I had a lot of negative talk. I mean, we used to have schedules in the field, it was 9 to 9 in Costco. So I'd have a while. I'd take a break. I would take one 30-minute break and a few 5-minute breaks. Sometimes more than one. Okay, the number whatever, the power of words. The word wow, it says in capitals, wow. The word wow, once released to the universe, our words cannot be taken back. Learn the concept of wow, stands for watch our words. Not wow like wow, but watch our words, W-O-W. What we speak reflects what is already in our hearts, based upon the things we have to come to believe about ourselves. If we find ourselves speaking judgmental and despairing things about circumstances of those around us, we know the condition of our hearts needs to change. You can create a direct path to success by what you say. Speaking negatively of other people, even if they've done something negative, is bad. This person doesn't deserve this. Let me read that. You can create a direct path to success by what you say. Just say positive things. To yourself, to others, just, it's free. It's free to go up to somebody and say, I like your blazer. Stay professional. Yeah, hey, I love you. Hey man, thanks for being around. Thanks for always being positive. You ever do that to somebody that's always positive that you appreciate that maybe it's a cross line? That's what a cross line relationship should be. It should be just encouraging. There should be no negatives whatsoever. And there should be nothing else than encouragement and reinforcement. Hey dude, you're in a great team. I love that you're on. Like you guys saw Anthony talk about Christina. Say, hey Christina, thanks for being awesome and pushing me. I know you're not on my team. That's a positive cross line relationship. So, number whatever next is the power in a positive greeting. Power in a positive greeting. This guy says that when people ask me how I'm doing, I say super fantastic. Most people enjoy working and living with others who try to live their life to what it is, a beautiful gift. Think about your first impression, right? When people are like, hey, how you doing? You're like, good. Fine. Yeah, like what kind of attitude is that display, right? It's free for you to receive that as somebody, how you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing freaking great. Super fantastic. Like, when you meet somebody like that, aren't you like, wow, man, I want to be friends with you. Like, you're cool. What's going on? What do you drink? So anyway, the power of positive greeting. It's a way to control your attitude into an action. Number next, enthusiasm. Is it 7? Okay.
Yes.
Enthusiasm. It's a vital tool for staying motivated. Enthusiasm. Most people think that enthusiasm is something they have or don't have. Enthusiasm is a discipline, man. Getting excited about this freaking dispenser for $3 after you've said the pitch over 9,000 times is a discipline, not a skill. You have to be disciplined to have enthusiasm. The ability to stay, and by the way, parents know this a lot more because when you have kids, you might having a bad day, but your kid, you can't be just negative to your kid and tell him how much it sucks that you're late on your bills. Right? So by survival methods, the mom or the dad or both become positive towards the kid and they protect them from the negatives. Don't you do that, moms? Moms and dads in here?
Yeah.
Right. So you should do that all day. Enthusiasm. It says enthusiasm is to attitude what breathing is to life. Enthusiasm, determination, enables you to apply your gifts more effectively. It's the burning desire that communicates commitment. Ooh, I love that.
So communicates what? Communicates what?
Enthusiasm is the burning desire that communicates commitment, determination, and spirit.
What was the breathing one? The oxygen.
Enthusiasm is to the attitude what breathing is to life. That's the one you wanted? Tracy?
Can you say it one more time?
Enthusiasm is to attitude what breathing is to life. Enthusiasm, okay, enthusiasm is the burning desire that communicates commitment, determination, and spirit. Can I tell you that if you're not doing the sales that you want to do, it's because you're not committed? Can I tell you the truth? That's the truth. If you're actually not doing the numbers you want, it's because you're not committed to do it. Because if your entire life depended on you doing 5 today, if you became a millionaire and your kids were good for life and you had free travel or whatever your goals were, if they were all dependent on you doing 6 sales today, would you do it?
Yes. Yes.
So that's my bad that we didn't, I guess, communicate the importance of the opportunity that much, because it's kind of how it works. You have to act like that every day. If not, it's not going to work. So you always have to be happy. Look around. It also says it's an internal spirit that speaks through your actions, from your commitment and your belief into what you're doing. It's one of the most empowering and attractive characteristics you have. For people that are maybe past their 22 and 23, do you know, like, when you date people, you go from, like, not only what they look on the outside, which is nice, you want to date somebody that looks nice, but also now you're like, but they're just
ugly on the inside. Yeah, that inside is terrible.
right. Like, hey, they can be hot looking, right?
Don't get me started, man. I've been single too long.
What about ladies? What about
shed a
dating?
tear.
What about dating a guy that's on the couch all day, a freaking loser? How much would you like that?
That's that bums.
You love it, huh? A guy that wants to spend your money playing video games?
Babe,
Super exciting.
I'm going to be a gamer.
You could be a gamer. So anyway, this happens through enthusiasm, right? Ladies, I know a lot of ladies are like, I just want to find this husband that pays for all my stuff. It's good, but guess what? To find that, you probably have to model that, right? You probably have to be the one that works for it first.
I want me a sugar mama.
It's true. Hey, if you're the girl that just doesn't work hard because you have this attitude of entitlement, like something's gonna happen, some rich person's gonna come to me and learn because of how I look in the out. Oh man, you're wrong. Right? You think a winner's gonna go pick you up from the losing side of the street?
Can a girl pick me up?
Never. Never.
Latch on.
You know what winners do? You know what winners do? They recognize other winners. That's what winning people do. They look in the room, and this is why we put qualifiers on stuff. This is why we have a training program. This is why we have a training program. This is why we do trips for owners. Because you're an owner, you've been through enough stuff that we know you're a winner. You cannot get through this program as a loser. You just can't. Guess what? You'll find enough excuses and enough things that your enthusiasm was down, maybe enough personal stuff that happened to you or life things that happened to you to lose. You'll find enough of them. There's enough for you to pick up, but you're not going to be with a winner. So I encourage you to apply that to your work, the enthusiasm and what you expect from, like, maybe somebody you date. First, do you have that yourself? Are you a model of that? And two, think about the workplace and how you apply that. Next is connecting your spiritual empowerment. Just write that. Connect to your spiritual empowerment. The ultimate level of human needs extends into this spiritual spirit, because we are spiritual beings. Many people find powerful and positive motivation in their faith. I happen to be one of them. Yes. By the way, faith means believing in things you cannot see. And when you start here, you don't see ownership, which is why it's so important you connect to an upline. I recommend you connect to your upline and connect to their vision, because they're closer. Oh my God, Cassandra got promoted. Cassandra, can you tell me your first 3 months here? If you're new and you don't have this, you're not having the faith, the whatever. Yes, Jared, let me repeat it. Connecting to your spiritual empowerment. I would just write that. Just write that and let people write whatever they want to get. Many people find powerful and positive motivation in their faith. Again, faith is believing in stuff you cannot see yet.
I was actually going to say something.
Yes, go ahead, yeah. Go.
I was going to say, I don't know if that ties into like my performance, but like I pray every morning. I'm super spiritual. Like I meditate. Like I try to stay like spiritually empowered, and that's just for a lot of different reasons. But I feel like that definitely helps me throughout the day. You said talk to yourself. I do that, and then I just stay in like contact with whatever. I don't know what it is, but whatever.
Whatever is paying you a paycheck. 100%. It's working for you. Yes, sir. But anyway, connecting to your spiritual empowerment, I recommend that you have to figure out a way. You cannot just see everything. If not, you wouldn't be here. You got to believe in things you don't see, which is why your upline is so important. See what they see. ask Cassandra, did you ever see it? And she's gonna be like, no, dude, I didn't see this for a year. It'll be like, for a year, I thought it would never happen to me. For a year. Okay, what did you do? And let her speak into you and cast that vision so that you can work through your first few months. And then ask her now, would you switch any of that, right? Would you change any of that? Would you regret? Or are you happy with your decision now that you're gonna open, Cardinal Endurance, and you have a new company? Like, and ask her and use her vision to help you. This is why your upline is so important. Number 9, I'm guessing, because there's 2 left. Lighten up your life with humor. I do this, I know I do this pretty well. Humor is a powerful motivator. The more humor and laughter in your life, the less stress you'll have, which means more positive energy to help to put your attitude into action. There's also a health benefit to lightening up. So anyway, a good thing you can apply this in the field is when you get a no, just laugh.
Yeah.
Like, have anybody got like weird responses about people like, I've got people tell me I don't drink water. I'm like, you liar. Why you lie? Like, you can just say I don't want it. Like, why do you have to make all this effort and lie? Anybody had a customer like that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't drink water. I remember with this person, I'm like, really? I just went on. Because I was not being cute. I was like, so what do you drink? Like coffee? I'm like,
I had one time with chocolate milk.
How do you make that coffee?
yeah, how do you make that coffee? Oh, I can sell you the water to make the coffee. They're like, no, because I use that. I'm like, okay, interesting. And the conversation went nowhere. Last one. Exercising will keep you motivated. One of the best ways to move to a more positive and motivated frame of mind is to exercise. A regular exercise routine can provide relatively quickly positive feedback in the form of weight loss, muscle development, and a sense of doing something positive for yourself. Seek personal and professional success by using the tools in this attitude kit. It is no secret that life seems to reward us more when we approach it with a positive attitude. How many of you guys know somebody that through 2020 COVID had a terrible year? You guys know friends, family like that? Now, hands down, how many of you guys know somebody that through 2020 COVID, it was the best thing that's ever happened to them, had the best year of their life? Isn't it funny? It's like some people used it to start a business and become millionaires, and some people used it to collect unemployment, stay on the couch, and gain weight. Some people did both, right? But it's how the same circumstance, people take it differently. I don't know if you guys remember, but I couldn't stay home. There was like 1 month at Texas we had to stay home, right? I was like,
I was
scared. I was like, they're probably gonna make us stay home and then increase rent. This is the perfect deal for them, right? You can't leave home, so you gotta pay rent. So then they're gonna increase it, so that you're out, right? Like somebody's getting rich off of this thing, right? Then they're gonna make 3 or 4 vaccines that they're gonna sell, and then after a few years, they're gonna come back saying that they didn't work.
I never got it.
Is that kind of like what happened? Or you take the vaccine and they're like, but you still gotta wear the mask. You're like, wait a minute.
We gave you the vaccine, but you need a booster.
Now you need a booster.
I haven't got a booster.
Anyway, this is recorded, so we can't go on it. It's being recorded. But hey guys, so just a thing. Like, listen, it's every single one of you. Raise your hand if you believe that you can go in the field and do 5. Right, so if you believe that, you got to see at the end of the day the 5, and then you got to be willing to do whatever it takes. You're still gonna get challenged. You're still gonna get kicked out. You're still gonna get this. You're still gonna get that. But if your mind is set on the goal, just like Cassandra's mind was set on getting to ownership, and it was over her dead body, it was gonna happen, and she was committed to do it, and it happened. It's the same to you, and it starts with the decisions you make in the field today. It starts with it that nobody wants to be in the field. However, it's what kind of proves that you can actually have the muscle attitude to get through it. Say positive things to yourself. Remember to talk to yourself. You're not weird. It's a lot more weird. It's a lot more messed up that you only make $50,000 for the rest of your life, and you got to request a vacation off. That's messed up. Like you're 40. Like I love my dad, but he's 54. He has to request off to his boss that's younger, so he can come to the U.S. and meet his grandchild. I think that's messed up. Like, you're a grown-up man. You should be able to have enough money, or enough, bless you, or enough options. Would you agree? Master your attitude, dude, and life will open the treasure box for it. You can keep the whole treasure. You guys think you can use this?
Yeah!